Actually, no. SyncSort was one of the original mainframe database sorting products. That was their original product. And then in the late 90s, they made the data protection product, which is what we spun out to become Catalogic. The popular term right now is copy data management, but actually, if you think about it, really all it is snapshotting. A lot of us know it as snapshotting. So really what we do is we gather up all these snapshots out there that you're taking. We do a particularly great job on IBM flash storage. We take those snapshots, we catalog them, then we allow you a self-service portal interface so you can use that catalog of snapshots to solve business problems. So business problems that you're solving could be test dev. You could be wanting to deliver a copy to the test dev team. You could be wanting to do an instant application restore, disaster recovery. So there are many solutions once you catalog this. What happens when you have all these snaps going around? They've done some studies, and 60% of your primary storage could be in snapshots that really you don't have use to it because there's no central place to catalog it. So we had a customer that had that problem. They actually came to us to begin with because they were using this storage just at an exceedingly fast rate, couldn't figure it out, and so we started looking at it, and what was happening is in the test dev team, they were saying, hey, we need a copy of this we need a copy of an Oracle database to do a test. And what happens when they would send an email into the infrastructure team would take a couple of days to get them a copy back. By the time they got the copy, they were testing on that copy, but it was old data, right? So then they would have to ask for another copy. So you can see that there's a lot of OpEx that goes on back and forth like this. So what we did is we came in, and first of all, we cataloged all these snapshots. So we allowed them to do and put a workflow engine into it. And so what happens now is they take the snapshot. There's a self-service portal where the dev team can now pull down a copy of the snapshot. That snapshot actually refreshes itself of the database, Oracle or SQL. And so when it's changed on the master copy, it's actually brought back and it updates here, so they're always testing on the latest copy. There's a workflow in there that it automatically deletes, so you don't have these old orphan snapshots running around all the time. And then finally, we have REST APIs that allowed them to tie it into their development tool of choice, which I think in that case happened to be Puppet. Does that help? And it turned out to save them like 90, I mean, this is a crazy number, but it was CapEx and OpEx savings of about 99% by the time the smoke cleared. That's a great question. We're what's called in-place copy data management. We actually work with the storage, actually the IBM flash storage. That's what makes this such a powerful solution, because you don't need anything else. You just need our product ECX, the Catalogic ECX, married to one of IBM's fantastic flash storage lines. Think of us as a management interface that lays over their ability to replicate and copy. And all we do, when you push a button in our software, we push a button there. We're just tracking all that for you and putting it into almost like a development framework, if you will. I love the approach IBM is taking, because if you look at what we're seeing here in the keynotes and everything, it's about value to the customer, right? Value to the customer. And so what they're talking about is completing the life cycle, if you will. And so if you have Flash and you don't have a copy data management tool like ours, in-place copy data management, you're really not getting the benefit of savings. I like to say that it's, you know, Flash copy will give you 3 to 4 times X from an OpEx perspective. If you marry it to a CDM tool, then you have 10 to 15 to 20 times between CapEx and OpEx. It's that kind of savings, and IBM has really embraced that message. They're talking about it as a systemic solution that completes it. What we have is copy data management. The whole plane replaces about 4 tools. So if you look at how it sets IBM apart, if you use a product like ours and you go against some of their competitors, they've got 4 tools. In the case of NetApp, there's like 12 tools. But to hit the nail on the head, one tool, like our CDM product, ECX, can actually solve that and take away the need for all those tools and complete the life cycle. Instead of having 4 separate tools where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, this all comes together in one seamless, consolidated framework. It runs on a virtual machine. So it's very easy to install. You download it off of our site, installs on a virtual machine, and then it works in conjunction with the IBM flash storage. Very easy to install. Most of our installs are less than an hour. It'll take you longer than that to build a workflow, right? But it's about an hour install. Absolutely. Yeah, if they need it. I mean, we have some customers that quite frankly don't need it because it's not rocket science, right? You take an inventory of your snapshots. It's really kind of developing how you want to use it with your development team or your disaster recovery policies, things like that. One of the biggest problems out there is that everybody's drowning in the world is awash in snapshots out there, right? And what's happening is, can you really restore a database back to where you want to have it with snapshotting? Can you do it quickly? We've managed to figure that out, right? Because we have some of the original change patterns, the block change patterns, we can add this information together and we can bring it back to you quickly. That's one of the big advantages of this. In an example where you have a secondary copy of the database that's being mirrored, we're constantly updating that copy. So if something happens to your main site, this thing is just ready to go. So we're automatically updating it.